Hi, this is Jim Gibson with CableSupply.com. Thank you for watching the video today. I very much appreciate it. And today we're going to be talking about penetration testers, the good guys, what they call the white hats, that actually learn and can discover vulnerabilities in your network and fix them before the bad guys get in there. Penetration tester. Well, penetration tester is actually a hacker that's going to hack into the system. And there's three types of hackers that we need to talk about. There's the white hats, the black hats, and the gray hats. And a white hat is a good guy, a good woman, a person who's going to get into your network or try to discover your network and figure out what needs to be done on your network to secure it. So they're not after to destroy your network. They're not out to gather information that could be used in other places. They're just there to discover the vulnerabilities in your network and then report back to you. Now, the black hackers, they're the ones that get all the notice on TV. They're the ones that no one wants to deal with. They're the evil guys, and we're going to be talking about them a little bit later. And then, of course, the gray hackers. The gray hackers are the ones that are good guys during the day and bad guys at night. So you mix the black hat with the white hat, you get gray. That's why they call it gray hackers. There's also hacktivists, and they're the people who aren't necessarily breaking into your system for fun. Some people do that just for fun, or they're not breaking in your system just to get money from you, things like that, to put in viruses that can down your systems and things like that. But they're there just to disturb things, to shut down your system, things like that, because they don't like your politics, they don't like your product. Whatever they think they want to disturb, they're called hacktivists. So the good guys are the white hats, and we need them. You know, a lot of people say, why do we need hackers? You know, all hackers are bad. No, the white hats are not bad. I remember I worked for a school district here in Southern California, and the superintendent asked me to walk through the data center and just take a look at it, to give suggestions, to brief the IT staff. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. And I walked through the data center, and about, I would say, within 15 minutes, I asked them how it was configured, everything else. But I would say about 15 minutes into it, you know, they asked me, what did I think? And I said, well, as a cybersecurity trained person, an IT person who's been in IT for 40 years and started in computer security before it was called cybersecurity, I'm positive you're being hacked on a regular basis. And probably, as we speak now, there's probably people from the outside in your system. And the IT guy said, no, that's not possible. Who would want to hack us? It's just a school system. And I said, $250 million in your budget, or other reasons, hacktivists, things like that, students, I bet you your system seems to me that a ninth grader could probably break into it. So the IT staff and the head of the IT did not agree with me, and he said, I think you're totally wrong. And so I suggested to the superintendent that they get a penetration tester, a white hat hacker, a person that would go and try to break into their system and see what they were, you know, see how vulnerable they were. Well, as soon as the penetration tester came back with his results, it showed that not only were they very vulnerable, it was a poorly designed network. And that's how I knew that they were having some issues. I'm not interested in embarrassing people, interested in helping people with their network and helping them to have a secure network. But he pointed out that, you know, the passwords on the routers and the switches have not been changed in like 8 years. Some of them were names of dogs, and former employees actually were able to break into the system if they wanted to. There was no evidence that they were doing that, but if they wanted to, they could easily break into the system because they knew all the passwords to all the equipment, even to the servers. They weren't being changed on a regular basis, and the passwords were pretty weak. You know, dog names, girlfriends' names, things like that. That could be easily hacked within seconds, by the way, because the systems are out there that are doing hackings. They're really good, this automated systems. You know, you always see these pictures of this guy in the hoodie with the hood over him, and he's typing away like crazy on the keyboard and he's smiling, and he's trying different passwords to break into your system. Well, probably the 9th grader is doing that, and if he could guess your dog's name, he can get in. In fact, if he could guess your password, in most cases, in this situation, passwords were pretty easy to guess. But that's not the case for professional black hats hackers. They actually have software that can actually break into your system. It does hundreds of millions of passwords in a very short time period, and they're able to fairly quick break into the system and find out exactly what you have online and then sit out there. You know, it's bad enough that you're hacked. It's really bad to figure out that you've been hacked and you don't know it, or you don't know who's in your system because you don't have intrusion detection systems, things like that, intrusion prevention systems. You don't have your firewall set up right. You don't have a proper passwords. And, you know, these type of things are fine. You need those, and you better have them, but that's not the end. You need policies, procedures, training. You got to have training of your employees and people that use your system. And then, of course, on the computer side of the network, you also have to have VLANs and things like that. You have to have make sure they're set up properly. People have the proper ability to do their work, but at the same time, not to have more access than what's necessary. You really need to have ongoing, regular training in how to prevent people from breaking into your system. And there's a lot of ways that people break into systems. So it's not only that they do password hacking, they can do other things to break into your system. I heard a pen testing company, and this is a specialty within the cybersecurity field, and you know, you got to have a pretty good background. We're going to talk about that, what you need to become a pen tester a little bit later in the video, so hang in there with me. And now's a good time to say, hey, listen, if this information is valuable to you, please like and subscribe. I need more subscribers. I love subscribers. That's the thing that helps me do better on YouTube and helps me to have the video presented to more people, the more subscribers I have. So please subscribe and like. It only takes a second. I'll wait. It just takes a second. Did you do it? No. Go back and do it. Just hit the like button. But anyway, when we're dealing with hackers, there's a lot involved here. They're not just interested in getting your password and things like that. Now, of course, they might be interested in your bank account, but they're not just interested in getting passwords to routers, switches, firewalls, and to your personal account. But they're interested in doing damage to your network. And there's different ways they can break in, not just remotely, but they can do it locally. And I'll tell you how it's done. I heard a really interesting story that a company that does pen testing, what they did was they were given the rights. And of course, if you're going to be a pen tester, don't fool around in this, okay? If you're not a professional, you don't know what you're doing, you can damage the system and you can end up in jail if you don't have permission. Always get permission in writing. It's called get out of jail card. So you always have to have permission, and you have to know what your limits are, and you have to know what you're doing and things like that. You have to have those type of things to become to perform penetration testing. And of course, there's software on it that will help you in that. Let's see. I remember a very interesting situation. I was hearing about this penetration testing company that was doing pen testing. And they seem like a really good company, and they're brilliant, actually. They broke into the system. It was pretty easy to break in. What they did is it was a company that had a couple hundred employees, and they all started at 8 in the morning or some sort of specific time in the morning. And so they got their secretary, who is apparently a looker, really looked, very nice, professional. And they gave her a thumb drive, but they gave her a bunch of books, so she was carrying all these books with her, and she was overloaded and everything else. And she walked up to the entrance of this building where other people were walking in the morning, and this was supposed to be a pretty secure building. They were doing some pretty sophisticated stuff, and they had a pretty good IT staff that knew what they were doing. But of course, the gentleman the gentlemen who were there at the door saw her coming, and they were walking in. They held the door open for her, so she walked in, and she was holding all these books, and she just walked around holding these books, looking for an open cube somewhere where someone used to have a cube, but now they no longer have a cube. They've been fired or quit or on vacation or whatever. And she sat down, laid the books down, and she took her thumb drive and stuck it into the network. And I don't know all the details. I don't know how she got into the network to actually upload it, but she uploaded a backdoor. And a backdoor, of course, for the people who don't know what that is a way that people can get in unauthorized into your network. And of course, they got in unauthorized to the network. They left a token. Usually you leave a token, some sort of document in a file somewhere that says, ha ha ha, we were here, here's proof, and thank you for paying us because we deserve what we did. We showed you that we could break into your system. Another one that was similar to this was they watched this building for a while, and they noticed a certain time there was always a smoke break. All the smokers would walk outside, and they would go to the lunch area, and they would sit down and talk for 10 minutes or so. Well, a guy dressed up like he was a telephone company employee, had all the stuff on his belt and everything else. He started mingling with these individuals, and of course, as soon as they were all done and they had to go back in, they all walked in together. And he wasn't with the phone company, obviously. And then he walked around until no one questioned his presence. And then at that point, he let in a couple friends with ladders, and they actually popped the ceiling tile of the head of IT. He was on vacation, and they went over the top of his door and down into his office. And then they were able to load a software that could report back to them everything he was doing. And they erased all their presence on that computer and opened up the door and walked away. So there's other ways than just outside people trying to break into a system. Now, of course, I've also seen a guy, and all this is legal, by the way. These are penetration testers. These aren't hackers. So they're showing, the weakness in the security system. So, as you can see, there's a lot of ways to break into a system, and you may not be aware of it if you're an IT person. Of course, a cybersecurity person should be studying all these ways and should be putting policies. That lady who walked through that gate, that's called tailgating. Same thing with the fake telephone repairman. That's called tailgating, and there should be rules against that. Even though you feel like, if you're a guy and this woman has her hands full and she can't even pull the doorknob, you're just going to be so kind, open up that door for her. You should have policies about that. And some buildings I've been in, you walk through an area where the door locks behind you, they weigh you as you go in, and then you walk in through the second door, and then when you're leaving that night, you better basically weigh the same amount walking out, and your pictures are taken, your things like that. Before, one person at a time is allowed through. So there's a lot of measures to stop tailgating, but the best measure is training your people. In fact, most of the time, hacks take place based on people not following procedures. Now, getting back to that pen test at the school district there, the guy came back and proved that there was many people in their system on a regular basis that they were unaware of. Okay, what is a pen tester then? How do you become one? That's really good information, and pen testers, white hats, get paid pretty good money, especially depending on how good they are. And, if you're hiring a pen tester, maybe you should try a couple. So one year you try this firm, the next year you try another firm. So you got a couple people you're testing to see, what they can do and their abilities. And some pen testers are better in some areas like networks, things like that. Some other pen testers are better in other areas. So, you're not relying on one company. So you should have a couple companies doing your pen testing. And even cybersecurity firms, they're not necessarily have pen testers. I'm not a pen tester. Could I do it? Yeah, I could do it, but that's not what I do every day. And I shouldn't be doing it. I should turn it over to people that are pretty used to doing it. There is software out there and very accurate software, by the way. I've seen the results and things like that. And if they're allowed to put their equipment on your network, or they break into your network and they install this software, they can search out every single thing completely throughout the network and find out what's going on. Of course, sometimes you have people, they go in and they plug in their little switch that they get from, I don't know, a little switch you buy at Walmart or something, but it's also a Wi-Fi thing, and they think it's really cool that they opened up to other people that can get in, and you got to watch things like that. But anyway, how do you become a white hat? Well, there's a lot of things. It's not just do it. It's not something you should be doing right out of high school type of thing. You really need a pretty good background first of the networks. You got to know networks inside and out. You got to know routers, you got to know switches, and of course you got to know operating systems, and you got to know how they function and everything. Just to get you on that path. Let's say you're an IT guy and you want to become a white hat penetration tester. They make decent money. That pen tester that probably spent about 6 hours, maybe 10 hours finding all the vulnerabilities through that school district. He got paid $16,000 probably for about 6 hours worth of work. So you got to have some innate abilities to start with. If someone came up to me and they said, we would like you to paint the wall and make a big mural up there and a big picture and a beautiful landscape and all. Gosh, the only thing I'm capable of doing is stick figures, with fingers on them maybe. And that would be it. I don't have that innate ability. So you got to have that innate ability. You got to be able to enjoy working on operating systems. You got to enjoy certain things in that area. I'm a network person. I like networks. I like routers, switches, firewalls, how to put them together. I'm also a person that enjoys managing. So I am not a pen tester. I can do pen testing. Again, I already said that, huh? But to become a pen tester, there's certain things you have to do. So let's say you're already a Microsoft operating system person, things like that, and you're just, you're doing your job and everything else, and you would like to kick it into a higher gear. Well, one of the first things I suggest to you is CISSP. CISSP stands for Certified Information Systems Security Professional. That's really a great certification to have, but of course everyone can't get it right away because it takes 5 years of experience in cybersecurity before you're eligible to get the certificate. But it is a great one, and it's a great one for an overall background in cybersecurity. But maybe you can start with something else. If you have no background at all in cybersecurity, try Security Plus. Now, what I'm going to do is these things I've mentioned, I'm going to put down in the explanation and the description down below, so you'll see them there. Security Plus is excellent, and if you don't have any background in networks, I would say Network Plus is also excellent. Now, once you get Network Plus and Security Plus down, and you understand the concepts, and you're working with, let's say you're working in an IT department right now, so you understand those concepts and everything else, and you have a good background in operating systems, things like that, then you might want to try something like this. CEH, and it's probably version 10 or maybe even more. Bought this a couple years ago, went through it. It's fantastic. It's the basics, though. It's just going to tell you, but it's going to tell you how to hack. And it's ethical, certified ethical hacker. That's what we're interested in, right? Remember, we don't want black hats. We want white hats. We need more white hats. We need more people in cybersecurity to be able to do this. This was a nice little set, and again, I'll put the description. I'll put a link to the description to Amazon, and Amazon's going to have probably the best price. If you buy using my link, I get like 50 cents or something like that for every purchase, and that really helps. It doesn't raise the price of your book, though, but that does help. You might want to try those different things. Another thing you might want to try is actually going to Cbt Nuggets, and there is a specialty there. Trying to think of the guy's name. Keith Barker, Cbt Nuggets, has a specialty on hacking, and he uses Kali Linux, and that is really the key in hacking, to learn that software. If you don't know Linux software, you really need to take some courses on it, things like that. You need to understand it, but especially Linux. Kali, or sometimes I think it's called Backtrack, or it used to be called Backtrack. It's just changed its name. You might want to try that. That is all the software that's used, excuse me, all the software that's used to break in the system. So you learn the different ways to break in. It attacks. Again, white hats and black hats are not sitting out there with the hoodie on in a dark room and typing away on the typewriter and trying this and trying that. It's really automated, and that's what Kali Linux is. It's an automated system that teaches you how to get into, or gives you the tools to get into a network. So it knows how to do it. You've got to put in the parameters, the IP address, things like that you're looking for. You tell it to look for. Of course, one other thing, and try this Keith Barker. He's really good. I took his courses, and I've been on Cbt Nuggets. There's other people out there. They're not bad. But Keith Barker was excellent, and his class on ethical hacking was fantastic, and I've learned a lot from him over the years because I've taken them for other courses. You might want to give it a try, but it's a really good course. Don't get caught up in this stuff where they say, well, I got this seminar, it's going to be this weekend, and you pay X amount of dollars, and this is a great seminar, and you'll become an expert, by working 10 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday, and we'll give you a certificate. You know something? If you're going to be in cybersecurity, it's going to be after you learn networks, after you learn operating systems, after you learn all the details and everything else. Then you learn cybersecurity. Then you learn ethical hacking. And once you get to that position, you've done a lot. But it's a lifetime commitment. It's constant learning. In fact, I just took a course last week on policies and procedures, and how to present policies and procedures, and how to build them, and how to write them, and what you should be talking about, and how to train people on cybersecurity, and employees, how to train employees in cybersecurity. So the bottom line is, this is not a casual thing. And when you have someone that says, well, I'm a Microsoft systems engineer, and I took a course on this Saturday in cybersecurity. Well, great, fantastic. But there's so much more to cybersecurity and ethical hacking than just taking a course on a Saturday. Again, if you have forgotten, right now, I need you to hit that like button. And if this course has been any value to you at all, or is this video has been any value to you at all, please, please, please subscribe, and ask your friends to watch the video also, and have them like and subscribe. Again, my name is Jim Gibson. Thank you for watching my video today. I very much appreciate it, and hope you have a fantastic day.